Okay, I am seriously excited to dive into this one with you today. Look, if you've ever felt the absolute pain of a project dragging on indefinitely, you know the feeling, you are in exactly the right place. We're going to unpack massive, comprehensive guide to finally speeding up project delivery.
It's literally the multi-million-dollar question, isn't it? Why do projects always seem to run late and over budget? If you are a business professional or a project manager listening to this, I guarantee you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's universally relatable and, let's be honest, incredibly frustrating. You start with a great team, the best of intentions, and then poof. Somewhere along the way, all that momentum just vanishes into thin air.
Well, to tackle this, a staggering 50 specific techniques to combat this exact problem. 50. Now I know, looking at a list of 50 rules can feel totally overwhelming. It's like a giant puzzle. So what we've done for this explainer is we did the heavy lifting. We synthesized this massive, incredibly valuable list into a single, high-impact methodology that you can actually digest and, more importantly, start applying to your teams today.
To make this actionable, we've organized these techniques into 5 core concepts: the acceleration imperative, ruthless planning, decisive execution, streamlined communication, and finally, boring projects.
Let's jump straight into Section 1, the acceleration imperative, defining the enemy.
So, before we can speed up, we have to know what's bogging us down, right? A perfect example of this enemy is found in technique number 11, avoiding paralysis by analysis. This is that fatal delay caused by the completely false belief that you need to know absolutely everything before you can start working. Overthinking is the ultimate enemy of momentum here. You really don't need a perfect, crystal clear picture of the finish line just to take the first step. You just need to begin.
Which brings us to Pillar 1. Ruthless and precise planning.
Now, a project's speed is largely determined before you even start executing. The crucial point here is technique number 1, how you construct your work breakdown structure, or WBS. Listen, you don't just list tasks randomly. You start with high-value outcomes right at the top of the hierarchy. Then you flow down to the time-consuming tasks at the bottom. And step 3, that is where the magic happens. You aggressively delete non-value added tasks. By doing this, you are inherently optimizing your structure for speed right out of the gate.
And that brings us to a brilliant point from technique 13. Better is the enemy of good enough. Man, that hits the nail on the head. It's a stark reminder that endless polishing delays revenue. We really have to clearly convey to our teams what good enough actually means, and we need to know exactly when to stop trying to make a product better. Trust me on this. Over-planning and endlessly polishing will kill your project's momentum every single time.
There's another massive planning trap found in Technique 32. You absolutely must separate leading-edge technology from bleeding-edge technology. So leading-edge tech, that can give you a real competitive advantage and accelerate a project. But bleeding-edge tech, no way. That introduces crippling unknowns, technical performance shortfalls, and frankly, massive rework delays. You've got to know the difference before you plan your resources.
All right, moving right along to Pillar 2, decisive execution.
Now, once your planning is done, you need firm choices. Technique 17 offers a really fascinating, kind of tough love perspective. Projects are not democracies. Making decisions by voting often leads to what Brooks calls egalitarian mediocrity. It wastes so much time dealing with multiple political factions, which diffuses the project goal and severely delays progress. Listen, consensus is not the goal here. Consensus is merely a metric of leadership. The actual goal is understanding and executing the project.
Execution also means fiercely defending your scope. Let's look at the concept of creeping elegance from Technique 23. This happens when people offer out-of-scope change proposals without providing any extra budget or schedule relief. You have to aggressively defend your project scope from creeping elegance. Now contrast this with constructive changes. Those actually add value to the product and crucially come with budget extensions. Constructive changes are great, but creeping elegance, that must be stopped in its tracks.
But while we absolutely want decisive speed, we cannot violate reality. Technique 50 gives us this great saying, a 3-minute egg takes 3 minutes. It's simple, but so true. You must retain project schedule integrity. Attempting arbitrary shortcuts just for the sake of looking fast, that almost always, predictably, leads to rework. You just end up doing the task twice because you didn't give it the required time the first time around.
Next up is Pillar 3, streamlined communication.
Okay, we have to talk about how teams talk to each other, because it's a huge source of invisible friction.
Here is a rapid-fire masterclass synthesized from techniques 35 and 36 on how to brutally slash time-wasting meetings. Ready? Publish the agenda beforehand so everyone is actually prepared. Invite only the relevant people. Don't let irrelevant discussions drag the meeting out. Eliminate what Brooks calls reality therapy or tales of woe sessions. Those are just massive time sinks. And finally, just offer the meeting minutes to interested parties who don't actually need to be in the room.
To further clean up that communication, techniques 41 and 42 recommend formal matrices. A task's responsibility matrix clearly defines roles, which honestly drastically reduces the number of irrelevant, time-consuming emails. People just know exactly who is doing what. Similarly, a communications responsibility matrix manages the flow of information to keep team communications timely. It completely cuts out the confusion of multipath communications.
And when it comes to the team itself, Technique 34 hits us with this incredibly vivid metaphor. Eagles don't flock. Team building is not friends building. Look, a project team is a multidisciplinary group with different backgrounds that needs to communicate trade-offs. They don't need to be best friends, and they aren't a family. High-caliber team members, your Eagles, they want to focus on goals and roles. So stop wasting their time on forced friends-building exercises.
Finally, we arrive at Pillar 4, cultivating a high-speed culture.
This all starts with the critical mindset shift found in Technique 49, separating what is urgent from what is actually important. Culturally, your team needs to know how to ignore the things that are simply screaming for attention and instead relentlessly focus on the important tasks that actually move the needle and advance the project schedule.
Now, there is a highly counterintuitive truth found in Technique 47. You need to be highly suspicious of the firefighters on your team. Why? Because firefighters in a corporate setting are often actually arsonists. Think about it. They create a crisis, or they let a problem languish, just so they can swoop in, fix it, and become indispensable. This need for lone heroes causes massive, totally unnecessary delays. You need to reward team performance that avoids problems before they occur, rather than rewarding the individual who barely survived the problem.
Which brings us to Technique 48, and this is perhaps the most brilliant counterintuitive advice of the whole bunch. Discourage project drama. Encourage projects to be boring. Seriously, a perfect project isn't a chaotic action movie where someone saves the day at the last second. A perfect project is one where absolutely everything simply happens exactly on time, exactly as it was scheduled to happen, with zero theatrics. The whole shebang is just delightfully boring.
So I want to leave you with this question to think about. Are you building a system for speed, or are you accidentally building a stage for drama? By applying these techniques, ruthless planning, decisive execution, eliminating consensus voting, and squashing those arsonists, you can strip away the chaos. You can finally achieve that beautiful, boring, on-time delivery. Thank you so much for exploring these insights with me.